A homeless teenage runaway dove into a quarry and rescued a woman who had been underwater for 9 minutes, not knowing she was saving the wife of an AFFA motorcycle club president. How did this desperate boy, hiding in an abandoned truck, transform overnight from a nobody into protected family of one of America's most respected motorcycle clubs? The autumn sun hung low over Clearwater Quarry, turning the water from blue to gold. Tyler crouched in the rusted shell of an old pickup truck that had been dumped at the quarry's edge decades ago. He was 16, skinny as a rail, with shaggy brown hair that hadn't seen scissors in months. His stomach growled so loud he worried someone might hear it. From his makeshift shelter, Tyler watched a gathering of motorcycles and their riders. The bikes gleamed in the fading light, all chrome and polish. Their owners wore matching vests with patches that read AFFA across the back in bold letters. Tyler had heard about the AFFA, the American Freedom Fighters Association. They weren't outlaws like some clubs, but they were serious people. Veterans, mostly, from what he'd picked up listening to conversations in truck stops. They were having some kind of celebration at the quarry, with coolers of food and a portable grill sending up smoke that made Tyler's empty stomach ache. He pulled his duffel bag closer. Everything he owned was stuffed inside. 2 shirts, 1 pair of jeans with holes in the knees, a winter jacket that was too small, $43 he'd saved from odd jobs, a bent photo of his little sister, and his dad's dog tags. The tags were the only thing left from before the accident that killed both his parents 2 years ago. Tyler had been in 4 foster homes since then. The last one, the Hendersons, seemed okay at first. But Mr. Henderson drank, and when he drank, he got mean. After the 3rd time, Tyler ended up with bruises he couldn't explain at school. He decided to take his chances on the street. That was 6 days ago. Through a gap in the truck's rusted side, Tyler watched a woman with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She wore a vest that said, "Property of Marcus," and was laughing as she arranged food on a picnic table. Her laugh was warm and real, the kind his mom used to have. "That's Lisa," a gruff voice said nearby. Tyler's breath caught. 2 men stood just a few feet from the truck lighting cigarettes. 20 years she's been with the president, one continued, raised 2 kids, runs a charity for homeless vets. Heart of gold, that woman. "Marcus is lucky," the other man agreed. "She keeps him grounded. Remember when that dealer tried setting up shop near the youth center? Marcus wanted to handle it the old way, but Lisa talked him into working with the cops instead. She's got influence, that's for sure. The whole club would burn the world down for her." Their boots crunched on gravel as they walked away. Tyler exhaled slowly, his heart still hammering. He needed to be more careful. If they found him squatting here, watching them, things could go bad fast. The quarry water lapped against the rocky shore. The old quarry was deep, people said. Used to be a limestone mine before it flooded. Now it was a swimming spot, though signs warned about the drop-offs and cold temperatures at depth. Lisa walked to the water's edge, testing it with her hand. "I'm going in," she called to the others. "Water's not too bad." A few people cheered, but most stayed by the food and the music someone had started playing from a truck. Lisa waded in slowly, then pushed off and began swimming with easy strokes toward the middle of the quarry. Tyler watched, envious of her freedom. What would it be like to just swim and relax without worrying about where your next meal was coming from or where you'd sleep that night? His dad had taught him to swim at the community pool when he was 7. "Every Marine should know how to swim," his dad had said, even though Tyler was just a kid. "You never know when you might need to save someone or save yourself." The memory hurt. Everything about his parents hurt now. Tyler's eyes felt heavy. He'd barely slept the night before, worried about someone finding him. Maybe he could rest now while everyone was distracted. When they left, he could search their trash for food scraps. Then, something caught his attention. Lisa's swimming had changed. Her strokes looked jerky, panicked. Her head went under, came back up. Even from this distance, Tyler could see her mouth open, probably calling for help. But the music was loud, classic rock blaring from speakers. Nobody was watching the water. Lisa went under again. This time, she didn't come back up. Tyler counted in his head. 5 seconds, 10, 15. "Help her," he whispered, staring at the group of bikers. "Someone look at the water." But they were all focused on each other, talking and eating and laughing. The music pounded on. 20 seconds, 25. Tyler stood up without thinking, bumping his head on the truck's ceiling. He had to tell someone. But if he revealed himself, they might call the police. He'd end up back in the system, maybe back with the Hendersons. 30 seconds, 35. He thought about his dad, about what a Marine would do, about what a decent human being would do. 40 seconds. Tyler grabbed the truck's door frame and pulled himself out. The late sun hit his face. Without letting himself think about consequences, he ran toward the water. His worn sneakers slapped against rock and dirt. He kicked them off as he ran, leaving them where they fell. When he hit the water, the cold shocked him, but he pushed through it and dove. The quarry water was murky, full of sediment. Visibility was maybe 6 feet at best. Tyler kicked deeper, his lungs already protesting. He swept his arms through the water, searching. Nothing. He surfaced, gasped air, and dove again. This time he went deeper, toward where he'd last seen Lisa. The pressure built in his ears. The water got colder and darker. Then he saw her. Lisa floated suspended in the water about 15 feet down, her hair drifting around her face like dark seaweed. Her eyes were closed. She wasn't moving. Tyler's lungs screamed, but he kicked harder, reaching for her. When he got close enough, he saw the problem. Her foot was wedged in a crevice between 2 large rocks. She must have been trying to dive down to check something out, or maybe got pulled by an unexpected current and got trapped. He surfaced again, his vision spotting. Above, he heard shouting now. The music had stopped. People were running toward the water's edge. "Someone's out there," a voice yelled. "Where's Lisa? Has anyone seen Lisa?" Tyler filled his lungs with as much air as he could hold and went down again. Straight to Lisa this time. He grabbed her ankle and pulled, but the rocks held tight. Her foot was wedged in at an angle that made it impossible to just yank free. His chest felt like it was caving in. Black spots danced at the edges of his vision, but he kept working, trying to twist Lisa's foot to find the angle that would free it. 50 seconds since his last breath. Maybe 60. He put both hands on her calf and pushed in toward the rock, then twisted up. Her foot shifted, almost. He did it again, ignoring the fire in his lungs, the pressure behind his eyes. Her foot came free. Tyler grabbed Lisa around her chest from behind and kicked for the surface with everything he had left. They rose through the murky water, through the cold layers, toward the light. They broke the surface together. Tyler gasped and coughed, his arms barely strong enough to keep Lisa's head above water. She was completely limp, not breathing. "Here!" he tried to shout, but his voice was weak. "Help!" A massive man dove in from the shore, swimming toward them with powerful strokes. He had a gray beard and arms covered in tattoos. His face showed pure terror. "Lisa!" he roared when he reached them. He took her from Tyler's arms like she weighed nothing. "Baby, no, 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 no." Other people were in the water now, pulling Tyler toward shore. His legs barely worked. Someone half carried, half dragged him onto the rocky beach. The big man, Marcus, was already doing chest compressions on Lisa. His huge hands pressed down on her sternum with practiced precision. "Come on, baby," he said, his voice breaking. "Breathe, breathe for me." Tyler collapsed onto the rocks, coughing up quarry water. His vision swam. Around him, bikers formed a tight circle around Marcus and Lisa. Some were on their phones, some were crying. Marcus counted compressions out loud, then gave Lisa rescue breaths. He'd done this before, maybe in the military. He was efficient, focused, but Tyler could see the tears running down into his beard. "How long was she under?" someone asked. "I don't know. 5 minutes? More?" Tyler knew it had been longer, much longer. He'd been counting from the moment she went under the first time. A woman with short gray hair knelt beside him. "You okay, kid?" Tyler nodded, still coughing. "What's your name?" "Tyler." "I'm Joan. You're the one who pulled her out?" Tyler nodded again. Her foot was stuck between rocks. Joan looked back at Marcus working on Lisa. "He's been doing CPR for almost 5 minutes now. Kid, I need to know, how long was she under before you got to her?" Tyler met her eyes. "Maybe 8 or 9 minutes total. I counted." Joan's face went pale. Jesus. Brain damage started around 4 minutes without oxygen. Tyler knew that from health class. After 9 minutes, the chances of survival without serious damage were almost zero. But Marcus didn't stop. He kept doing compressions, kept giving breaths. His massive frame shook with effort and grief. Then Lisa coughed. The sound was small, but it cut through everything else. Marcus rolled her onto her side as she coughed again, bringing up water. Her body convulsed with the effort. The crowd erupted in shouts and cheers. Marcus gathered Lisa into his arms, holding her against his chest as she continued coughing and gasping. "That's my girl," he said, his voice rough. "That's my girl." Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called 911. Lisa's eyes fluttered open, confused and unfocused. "Marcus?" she whispered. "I'm here. I'm right here." Tyler tried to stand, thinking he should slip away before anyone asked too many questions. His legs wobbled and Joan caught his arm. "Easy there." "I should go," Tyler said quietly. "Wait." The command came from Marcus, who was looking at Tyler now while still cradling Lisa. "You. Come here." Tyler's heart sank. He walked over on shaky legs, acutely aware of how he must look. His clothes were torn and dirty. He probably smelled. He was nobody. "What's your name?" Marcus asked. "Tyler, sir." "Tyler." Marcus studied him with sharp eyes. "You pulled my wife out of that quarry. Joan says she was under for 9 minutes. Tyler nodded. "You know what happens to the brain after 9 minutes without oxygen?" "Yes, sir. Usually brain damage, or worse." Marcus looked down at Lisa, who was breathing more easily now, her color returning. "But you got her out anyway. You dove down in that murky water and got her free." "Her foot was stuck," Tyler said again, not sure what else to say. The ambulance pulled up, lights flashing. Paramedics ran over with their equipment and started checking Lisa's vitals. One of them looked at Tyler. "You were in the water too? We should check you out." "He's coming with us," Marcus said firmly. It wasn't a question. Tyler wanted to refuse, to run back to his truck hideout and disappear. But more bikers had gathered around him now, blocking any escape route, and honestly, he wasn't sure his legs would carry him that far anyway. As the paramedics loaded Lisa onto a stretcher, she reached out and grabbed Tyler's hand. Her grip was weak, but determined. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for my life." Tyler felt something crack inside his chest. He nodded, not trusting his voice. "We're taking both of them," the lead paramedic said. "The woman for observation and treatment, the kid for possible secondary drowning and exhaustion." "I'll ride with them," Marcus said. "Family only," the paramedic replied. Marcus put a heavy hand on Tyler's shoulder. "He is family. He saved my wife. That makes him one of us." The paramedic didn't argue. Tyler found himself in the back of the ambulance, wrapped in a blanket, an oxygen mask over his face. Lisa was on the main stretcher, hooked up to monitors and IVs. Marcus sat between them, holding Lisa's hand with one of his and keeping the other on Tyler's shoulder. "Your parents know where you are?" Marcus asked quietly. Tyler shook his head, then pulled down the oxygen mask. "Dead. 2 years ago. Car accident." "Foster care?" Tyler nodded. "They treating you right?" Tyler looked away. That was answer enough. Marcus was quiet for a moment. "How long you been on the street?" 6 days. "Jesus." Marcus squeezed Tyler's shoulder. "We're going to fix that." At the hospital, they put Tyler in a room 3 doors down from Lisa. The doctors checked him over, gave him fluids and warm blankets, and said he was lucky. No secondary drowning, no hypothermia, just exhaustion and malnutrition. "When's the last time you ate?" the nurse asked. 2 days ago. Found some pizza in a dumpster behind a restaurant." The nurse's expression softened. "I'll get you some food." While Tyler ate the hospital meal, Joan came to visit. She sat in the chair by his bed, her weathered face kind but serious. "I talked to Marcus," she said. "We know you're a runaway. We should probably call social services." Tyler's stomach dropped. "Please don't. I can't go back." "Back where?" Tyler pulled up his shirt, showing the faded bruises on his ribs. "My foster dad drinks." Joan's jaw tightened. "I see." She was quiet for a long moment. "I ran away too when I was about your age. Different reasons, but same desperation. I know what it's like to have nowhere safe." "So you won't call?" "Marcus and Lisa want to help you, really help you, but we need to do this right, legal, proper." Joan leaned forward. "How would you feel about staying with them for a while? We have lawyers who can work with the system, make sure you're placed somewhere safe." Tyler couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Why? You don't know me. You dove into that quarry and saved Lisa. She's the heart of our club. Without her, Marcus wouldn't be the man he is. She's saved more lives through her work with homeless vets than most people save in a lifetime. Joan smiled. In our world, what you did makes you family. And we take care of family. 4 months later, Tyler stood in the living room of Marcus and Lisa's house, looking at himself in the mirror that hung above the fireplace. He barely recognized the person staring back. He'd gained 20 pounds of healthy weight. His hair was cut short. He wore clean clothes, new boots, and over his shirt, a leather vest with the AFFA patch on the back. Below it, a rocker that said, Prospect. You ready? Marcus asked from the doorway. Tyler turned. I think so. Still feels weird. You earned it. The club voted unanimous last night. You're officially a prospect. Work hard, prove yourself for a year, and you'll be a full member. I still can't believe this is real. Marcus walked over and put a hand on Tyler's shoulder. Lisa and I talked to a lawyer last week. We're filing to be your legal guardians, if you want that. Tyler felt his eyes burning. He'd promised himself he wouldn't cry anymore after his parents died, but lately he'd been breaking that promise a lot. I want that, he managed to say. I really want that. Good. Marcus cleared his throat, looking emotional himself. Your dad was a Marine, right? Tyler nodded, touching the dog tags that hung around his neck. He'd be proud of you, son. What you did at that quarry, that took courage, that took honor, Marine values. Through the window, Tyler could see motorcycles lining the driveway. The club was throwing a party, celebrating Lisa's full recovery and Tyler's official acceptance as a prospect. The doctors had been amazed. 9 minutes underwater, and Lisa had no brain damage at all. They called it a miracle. Lisa came into the room, moving with her usual energy. She'd fully recovered, back to running her charity and keeping Marcus in line. She pulled Tyler into a hug. My hero, she said, like she always did. You saved me too, Tyler replied. Both of you did. The party was already in full swing when they walked outside. Club members and their families filled the yard. Kids ran around playing tag. The smell of grilling burgers filled the air. Joan came over and handed Tyler a plate piled with food. Eat up, Prospect. You're skinny. Tyler laughed. That was going to be the running joke for a while. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Marcus gathered everyone for a toast. The crowd fell silent, listening to their president. 4 months ago, my wife almost died, Marcus said, his arm around Lisa's waist. She would have died if not for a skinny kid who had every reason to stay hidden and safe, but chose to risk his life instead. He raised his beer. To Tyler, our newest prospect, our brother, our family. To Tyler, the crowd echoed, raising their own drinks. Tyler felt Joan's hand on his shoulder, felt Lisa's arm around his waist on the other side, felt Marcus's solid presence behind him. He was surrounded by leather vests and tattoos, by people who'd chosen to make him one of their own. Later, when the party wound down and people started leaving, Tyler walked to the edge of the property. From here, he could just see the quarry in the distance, glinting in the puer moonlight. Water can save you or kill you, his dad had said. For Lisa, it had nearly killed her. But for Tyler, somehow it had saved him. It had brought him here, to this place, to these people who'd become his family. Tyler, Lisa called from the house, come help me with dessert. He turned away from the quarry and headed back to the warm lights of home. In his pocket, he carried 2 things, his dad's dog tags and the AFFA challenge coin Marcus had given him at the party. Both were part of who he was. Both were part of his story. The old rusted truck at the quarry sat empty now, abandoned again. Tyler didn't need it anymore. He had a room in a real house with a real bed and a door that locked from the inside. He had people who cared whether he ate or slept or was safe. He had Marcus teaching him about motorcycles and responsibility. He had Lisa making sure he did his homework and saw a therapist to work through his trauma. He had Joan and the rest of the club looking out for him, making sure he knew he mattered. 4 months ago, he'd been nobody, just another runaway kid with no future. Now he was Tyler Mitchell, prospect of the AFFA Motorcycle Club, son to Marcus and Lisa, brother to an entire family of riders who judged him not by where he came from, but by what he'd done when it mattered most. He dove into dark water to save a stranger, and in doing so, he'd saved himself. As he stepped back into the house, into the warmth and noise and love, Tyler touched the dog tags under his vest one more time. I hope you're proud, Dad," he whispered. "I found my way home." Behind him, the quarry water lay still and calm under the stars, keeping its secrets, holding its memories of the day a desperate boy became a hero and found a family in the most unexpected place.